You're like a breath of fresh air, softly blowing spring through your hair. Sunlight in the sky on your face, bringing joy and love to this place. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart.
Hello, I'm Carol B. Brown Jones, and welcome to GG United by Love, our home for practicing love in actions. That's with the S on the end, by choosing love in every action. GG stands for grandmothers and their girls, and that includes daughters, daughter in laws, granddaughters, grandsons too, your family and your friends. If you're here, you belong here, and you are welcome. This is where we gather to share stories, wisdom, and reflections about life, love, and legacy across generations. If this speaks to your heart, I invite you to subscribe here on Substack and stay connected with our community. I am glad you're here. Introduce yourself. I know you as TJ Johnson, but tell my audience who you are.
Hi, my name is Terry James Johnson. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, originally, born and raised. I'm the youngest of five boys here. Very, very outgoing, creative. If I was born today, they'd probably say I was on the spectrum back then, because I was overly creative, overly exuberant, um, smartest kid in my school, up through sixth grade. Then I failed sixth grade because I got kicked out. I repeated the sixth grade. Then I got skipped from the seventh to the ninth. Then I got kicked out of ninth grade at Dunbar, and I went to a school over on Brown Street called Alternative Learning Center South. And they had computers. It was about six kids to each classroom. And it opened up my eyes to the world of computers way back then in 1974, 75, 73, 74. Um, Around that time, I came up with an idea for a spelling device for children, and I called it the Spell Safe. And if you can imagine a floor safe from the olden days and five alphabet wheels on the inside and these windows at the top, and I took picture word cards consisting of not more than five letters, like lamp, dog, shoe. You show it to a child. You say, "What word is that?" The child says, "It's a shoe." You go, "Yep." And you stick it in the top of the thing and you say, "Now spell it." And they would turn this wheel and they'd lock in SHOE. Think about those old IBM punch cards, right? And they'd say, "I think that's right." And they would turn the handle on the front. And if the door opened, the word was right. If the door didn't open, the word was incorrect. And
Ah,
so I created that. One of my neighbors, Gordon Matthews, did a schematic drawing of it. And my father lived in Washington, D.C. And when I was 20 years old, I told my mother I want to go to DC to the patent office. I found out that the patent office was in Crystal City, Virginia. I said, I want to do a patent search. I mean, this is 1978, right? There's no
mhm,
internet.
right.
And I'm this little boy from Dayton, Ohio, but somehow I found all this out. And my mother put me on a train with a bag lunch, and I went to DC, and I never came back. That's what got
Ah,
me out of Dayton, literally.
okay.
It That's what saved my life, because had I stayed in Dayton, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I was not a good person. I was running the streets and doing drugs and acting foolish. But God had something else in store for me, and I followed it. I didn't say, "Oh, this is crazy." This is no. I got on a train. I never got the patent, but it started me on my way. And then, years later, I started working in radio, and I was working for Kathy Hughes at Magic 102.3 in DC. I started doing stand-up comedy at a place called Mr. Henry's in Adams Morgan. And then In Living Color came out, and I had a friend who knew a friend who knew a friend, and I got some of their sketches from Keenan, and I wrote some sketches and sent them, and he said, "Come to California." So I moved to Hollywood, and my first job was writing for In Living Color in 1990, 1991. So, and then of course, I worked for the Harlem Globetrotters, BET, and then I met my daughter's mother, and she was working at Microsoft in Seattle, and I left LA and went to Seattle, and that's a whole nother story. I've lived in Singapore, London, Austin, Texas, Las Vegas. I've been everywhere, man. Me and Johnny Cash.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. It's so interesting how we all come from Dayton and find our worlds in other places. And a lot of us eventually do come back home, though. I was back home from 2015 to 2023.
Right.
Yeah, uh-huh. And I came back to Washington State. Life changed for me while I was there. So, yeah, great. Beautiful, beautiful. I love meeting people who have listened to their heart and listened to God
Yes.
telling them it's time to make some changes or follow your dreams, follow uh, what's been put inside of you, and you need to explore it.
And then coming home. So I was in Northern California for the past 10 years, okay,
Hmm.
um, in Walnut Creek, California. And I went to Long Beach for a few months. I went to Singapore last year for 9 months. But I woke up a few months ago and something in my spirit said, go home. And I wasn't going to come home because my mom passed away in 2010 in Dayton. And I was like, well, I got no reason to go home. Mama's gone. I mean, I still have two brothers here, nieces and nephews, but my mother was everything to me. And
Hmm.
I always stayed with her, and I'm mama's baby. She would cook for me, and I borrowed her car, and I was like, there's no reason to go home. But I woke up and I said, you know what? Go to Dayton. No one would expect you to go back to Dayton. And I came back, and the first week and a half was challenging because my Dayton is not the same Dayton I left. Okay.
No,
West Dayton is a shell of itself. In fact, I was just driving down Salem just now, and I said, how does a beauty supply place outlive a grocery store? You know,
right.
how does a beauty supply place outlive a drugstore?
Hmm.
And I was like, Dayton, Ohio.
Mm.
And Dayton has always been a tale of two cities, East Dayton and West Dayton. Even going back, all the factories were in West Dayton. And so the people coming from East Dayton were driving with the sun at their back. Okay. And when they're going home, the sun is at their back. They never had to drive into the sun.
That's
All the
true.
pollution from inland and Delco and Frigidaire was in West Dayton. I lived on Wisconsin Boulevard. There was an airplane factory behind our house. And the pollution in West Dayton had always been really bad. And I would tell people this is a city divided by a river. And it's ironic, I'm living on the river now. But there are things here to be very, very proud of. I mean, I go over to Caroline Park and I walk through there, and all the great inventions that came from here. Last week, I went to Woodlawn Cemetery. Paul Laurence Dunbar and the Wright brothers are buried less than 100 feet away from each other. And for that to have happened in, segregated mindsets is very, very telling. So
Yes.
there's some good things to Dayton, and of course, there's still some things that we need to work on. But I'm here. I'm doing my part. I'm wearing a 937 hoodie. I am representing Dayton all as much as I can. I'm going to make a custom card game for Dayton, Ohio. I have one that I've made for the University of Dayton that I would love to get into the hands of someone. But that's what I do now. I make custom card games. Um, there's one I'm working on. So I'm still a creative person.
Huh?
11 years ago, I made a game called That's What She Said game, and that went to Target and Amazon. And I was in a partnership I got myself out of 2 years ago so that I can make these custom games. But I'm still a creative person. I'm 68 years old, and I got a lot. I got a lot inside of me that I have to get out. So
Well, you're at the right place. Dayton is a lot of inventions people don't realize. I just recently got married last in July, and I took my
congratulations,
thank
love
you.
after 70. Oops.
Yes, 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 beautiful. And I took my fiance at the time to Dayton because he'd
Uh-huh.
never been there. He grew up here in Seattle, and took him to Caroline Park. And
Hmm.
like I said, the discoveries of what's there, the cash register, and
Yeah, yeah,
so many
NCR.
different
Yeah,
things that people
yeah.
don't realize. The Kettering and
Hmm.
engines for the starter for the car, and not just the Wright brothers. There
Oh,
was
so
Dayton
many.
was really booming before the big
Yes,
flood, before the
yes.
flood that changed everything. And Paulins Dunbar, our mother, you met Joyce, she used to volunteer at the Dunbar House
Hmm.
and record and do this dress up and do poems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So
I love Paul Armstrong Bar.
we are Dunbar, we are Daytonians for sure.
Lies, lies, bless the law. Don't you know the day is abroad? Think I going to let you sleep while I makes your boarding keep? If you don't get up, you scamp. There'll be trouble in this camp. Match yourself and wash your face. Don't you splatter all the place. I got something else to do. Besides just cleaning after you. How's that?
You good. That is a good memory. I know I said that poem at one time too. You
Yeah.
got so many. But today, thank you for that. I love learning about you and what you've done. And so my sister Joyce met you recently and said that you had this is everybody, this is December. We're talking about getting ready for Christmas and Kwanzaa. And you have something that you put together. I see how your creative mind works. Was the night before Kwanzaa, and
Yes.
you put it to music. And so I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that from you. Tell me a little bit about it, how it came about.
So I'm pulling up. Okay. Years ago, I wanted to tell my son about Kwanzaa, and I wrote this. I wrote what I envision as a more rhythmic explanation um, of the principles of Kwanzaa. And so here, I'll read you um, just a bit, and I apologize. I don't memorize things anymore, but this is I can't say it the way. On the first day of Kwanzaa, December 26th, we greet one another with Habari Gani, and this is called unity. We light the first black candle on that day, and this is called Emoja. On the second day of Kwanzaa, the first red candle is lit to promote self determination of the spirit, and this is called Kujichagulia. On the third day of Kwanzaa, we focus on collective work and responsibility, organizing habits that strengthen our community, and this is Ujima. And so I go through the seven principles, right? What I've tried to do, and I'm still working on, I apologize, I'm not done. I'm a perfectionist. I want to make it a rhythmic thing because when you have a rhythmic uh, pentameter or something, it's easier to remember. Okay. A lot of times people say, "Oh, I can't remember those things." I'm like, "But on the first day of Christmas, don't you listen to me, five golden ring."
Right.
They know it because it's easy. And
Yeah.
so my task when I wrote it was to make it easy to remember and make it fun. And so, as a follow up, people, because today is only the 16th, we are 10 days away from Kwanzaa. I will do an update, I promise. And it will be in a rhythmic form that you will be singing for the rest of your lives.
Oh, beautiful. Love
For
that.
the rest of your life, because I am a poet at heart. I
Uh-huh.
can I can make a rhyme out of literally anything on the spot. It's always been my talent. And so this has been something that I have said I'm going to figure out how to do this. And so it's something I want to do for the world, to the world. from me. So,
That's going to be beautiful. Definitely.
well, thank you.
Right. Because that is something we need to be teaching more often. And that's why I was
Yes.
in my book, and there is a free copy available. If you're interested, let me change the screen.
Get on board the new Underground Railroad.
Right. It's a thin
Harriet
book,
Tubman Spear.
not very
Okay.
big. This
Right.
book
It's
was
not.
written in this August, and I launched it in November. So that's a fast write because God was speaking to me when I was writing it. It just came to me. It was on synchronicities.
Hmm.
And I still include Harriet, but it's also partially a memoir. So I include some of myself in it too, and my family and my life challenges. But I say that Harriet Tubman's grandmother was from Ghana, and I can imagine that she taught her the things that we're trying to recreate in Kwanzaa, the
Hmm.
unity, the
Hmm.
the community unity, the bringing the family together and teaching our children these concepts. And so, yeah, that's why I was going to be talking about Kwanzaa on this date. And I also am doing Kwanzaa celebration at a Unity Church this month,
Oh, okay. Okay.
all white congregation Unity
Right.
Church.
Right.
So I think that's why I said this book was God wanted me to take it and bring us together to
Yes.
unify people and
Yeah.
talking about the concepts of Kwanzaa, not just in that little 1 week that we have it mostly thought of, the week after Christmas Day, all year round. So at my wedding in July, I had a Kwanzaa ceremony, and
In
so
July.
in July, yes.
Wow.
And so I continue to want to teach these concepts and let people, like you said, be singing it. Your song is going to help them sing it for the rest of their
Yep.
lives.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
And sometimes I get hung up on the actual words in Kwanzaa, the Makika mat and the Nguza Saba, things like that. But those are words that are translated into English. The mat, the the harvest of the toll, and the fruit bowl. You know, I can write it to the English version, and then for translation or for literal translation, see below, because it's hard to rhyme with Kuji Jagulia, you know.
That's true. I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you that. So I can't pronounce the words correctly every time
Right.
either without really
Right.
looking at it and practicing.
Yes.
And I was thinking about when I present at this church to try to take it out of it being just for Black people,
Correct.
to not
You,
use the African words. Now,
yes.
do you feel like that's taking anything away from Kwan?
No, no. Because the version that I sent to you, I omitted the African words because each African word or phrase translates to an English meaning. And so it's okay to say the mat, the bowl, the Black liberation flag. That's the first thing. The Black liberation flag is hung on the wall. Okay. And so that's the only quote unquote thing that says this is about being Black, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um, and we sometimes shy away from eh, we all celebrate Christmas, you know,
Yeah,
Black people, white people. We
yeah,
all celebrate Thanksgiving, you know,
yeah.
even none of us are Native American, you know. I mean, it's a big deal, you know. 4th of July, we all out there cooking, you know,
Oh, yeah.
had nothing to do with our freedom, okay?
Right,
You know,
right.
people that, oh, y'all got what's this Juneteenth? It's a good thing it wasn't on the 12th because it would have been 12th. That don't sound as good, do it? You know, they always want to minimize, you know, but it's about inclusion. I lived in Singapore for 3 years, okay? And if you look at Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, who brought Singapore out of the past and into the modern day that it is now, they embrace all of the cultures: Muslim, Hindi, Chinese, Indian, all of it. They are all celebrated. They each have their celebrations, and nobody says a word. No one says, "Oh, no," because they're all Singaporean. See, and
Mm-hmm.
Singaporeans, they appreciate what makes up the whole. And that's what America should embrace once you're here, you know. And I'm going to say something that people are going to maybe not agree with, but I'm not, look, I'm going to say this to you, okay?
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of African American,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not an African American. I'm an American. They don't call uh people from Spain Spanish Americans or
No.
or Polish Americans. We're the only ones with a designation in front of Americans. And I
Right.
think I don't mind being called a Negro because that's what I am. I am
Mm-hmm.
of the Negro race.
Mm-hmm.
The Negro race. There's Caucasian, there's Asian. I'm a Negro, but we moved away from Negro and then we went to Black because James Brown, because nothing rhymes with Negro. James Brown says,
Right.
say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He didn't want to go, say it loud, I'm a Negro. It just didn't sound right.
Right.
So
Right.
that's when we started saying Black. And then it went to African American, even on the census thing. What are you, African American? You know, and Hispanics have one word, they're Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
Caucasians have one word, we got two words. I've never been to Africa. I've never been to Africa.
It's not.
So you know those things are, I argue with my friends like, you don't want to be called African American. I said, I don't. I just want to be an American.
You're not alone because if you think about people who move in to this country who are from Haiti or Cuban or and they're black heritage from African heritage, they're not African Americans. They call
Right,
themselves black.
right.
And
You
Negro
know,
means black, doesn't it? I think
ne-
Negro comes from the word black
well, yeah,
in Spanish.
from negra. Yeah,
Negra. Hmm.
negra. See? And
Yeah.
so, but very few of us are black, you know.
Right. Not the
We are
color.
Negro,
Totally
right?
black. Yeah.
We are Negro.
Yeah.
It's there. So when I used to do stand up in Washington D.C., I did this Jesse Jackson joke, right? So I said, "Y'all want to know whose fault it is? It's Jesse Jackson." I said, "This is Jesse. We, the Negro people of America, don't want to wash your cars. We don't want to be your butler. We don't want to. We don't want to cut your grass." And the Mexican said, "We cut the grass, man. Okay." And the Chinese said, "We will wash your clothes up for you." Okay. And all the other people said, "We'll do it." And so we went from being second class citizens to fifth. See, we
Mm-hmm.
pushed ourselves out. I grew up on Wisconsin Boulevard, and there were at least six fathers on that street that worked at that factory, walked to work every day, second shift. They always work second shift, okay? All the white people had first shift, the black people
Hmm.
had second and third, right?
Hmm.
But those jobs, those menial jobs, bus drivers and things, bought houses. They sent kids
Hmm.
to college.
That's true.
They they paid for vacations, okay? And once those were taken away, that was it. And
Mm.
so now, when I sold cars in the Bay, I would get customers from Nepal. I have all these Nepalese guys, and they would come. They say, "TJ, I want to get a car. My, my brother's going to co-sign." And then they come back 3 years later, and they would co-sign for somebody, and then they would co-sign. And one guy sent me a picture. It was 6 years after he bought his first car from me. He said, "Look at the houses I just bought in Kathmandu." They pull together. And see, that's one of the principles, right? Pulling
Yeah.
together our resources for collective, opportunity.
You're right.
They do that better than, they all lived in, a two-bedroom apartment. They had each other's back. They helped each other get credit. And that those things, that's why other God, I'm going way off on tangents. I apologize, but it's we've lost our sense of community. I have a t-shirt and hoodie that I'm marketing, and it says community means communicate unity. Okay. If you look
Hmm.
at that word community, it's communicate unity. And that's something that I think we need to do more often. And we got to stop blaming the outside. Sometimes we got to look inside. Okay.
That's
Inside. We have to go to that restaurant over there that that Jesse owns. You know, it's small. He's slow, but we got to keep him open. You know,
mhm,
we got to
mhm.
keep him open. We do. Anyway,
Yes.
I'm sorry. So,
No, perfect.
I
Beautiful.
get
Because
passionate
this
about.
is the discussion that we need to have. Our children aren't having these
No,
discussions. And we're not, and we, they are they're listening to more of the social media chat, which is
yeah,
not talking about this,
no,
talking
no.
about who on TV is
Right.
starring in this new movie or, you
You
know.
wearing? Oh, is that Balenciaga? You can't even spell Balenciaga. You
Yeah,
know.
right, right. But to talk about what is really important
Yes.
is, and that unity is so important,
Yes.
that supporting each other, the collaboration, the being able to start with yourself. That's
Mm,
self-love. That's what I teach. You have to
mhm.
start with yourself. You cannot change anyone else. You can
No.
only change yourself, change your mind, your thinking, your expectations of the world, what you choose, how you choose to see the world,
Yes.
positively or look at the negative
Yeah.
parts that's out there. It's up to us. And only when we decide that we want to do better are we going to do better. And
Yes.
that's what this discussion is. That's what Kwanzaa was all about. It's not
Yeah.
just reciting it for a week, you know. And I don't think I don't know, enough of us take it that's past that.
Yes.
What you're going to be sharing with us with your
Yes, I am. Yes, I
night
am.
before Kwanzaa. So what's the night before Kwanzaa? Just part of, like, in the theme of
So,
night before Christmas?
twas the night before Kwanzaa talks about how all the family comes together. It's 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 Christmas has come. You know, they've done all that, but they are more excited about the week ahead, about sharing and caring and coming together as a family, as a village. You know, when they say the village, that's what the night before Kwanzaa is about. The excitement of getting everything ready and knowing the impact that they can have on one another over the next 7 days because it takes them into the new year. See, Christmas is one day, a week before the end of that year, and you know it's presents and all that stuff, and all that's great. And now it's commercialized as football, and you know no sport should be played on Christmas Day. I
Yeah,
mean,
family
if
should be able
it's
to be home, and the guy
right,
should be able to be off.
right, you know, I mean, or Thanksgiving. Those are times you're supposed to be able to spend time with your family.
Yes.
Um, and so, what I love about Kwanzaa is that each day builds to a final unity. Okay, and Imani, which is faith, and
Mm-hmm.
faith going into the new year, because you should end your year on a positive giving note so that you start the new year off with a full open heart, knowing that you've given everything you have to your community. That's how you start the new year.
Yes.
So that's why I love Kwanzaa.
Right. Love it. Beautiful. Well, definitely, this is going to be a great discussion. So this, I'm going to actually be showing this presentation with you on a Zoom call where people can talk about it.
Okay.
So we will have a discussion about it. If you're available, please do join us. I know we're doing this because you may not be, um, but we're opening up the door for some
Good.
good discussion, and that's what we need to have. We need to be talking about this and teaching this to our young people. So my platform is working with grandmothers
Hmm.
because I know grandmothers have that special
Oh yeah,
Action.
yeah.
And people listen to grandma.
My grandmother, my grandmother was probably the most influential person in my life. I was reading, I was reading books. I was telling someone that my grandmother gave me a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. She gave me Psycho-Cybernetics and The Secret to Self-Fulfillment. She gave me all of my Paul Laurence Dunbar books. She gave me The Missing Piece by Shel Silverstein. My grandmother just used to hand me books and say, "Let me know when you're finished." She knew, my grandmother knew that I was special.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else knew it. My mother knew I was bad. She had to come to school and get me back in. But
Uh-huh.
my grandmother, I would sit with her and watch Name That Tune and different shows like that. And I'd sit there with her while she's smoking her cigarette and drinking her Ember House. And I would roll her hair on those sponge rollers. And we were, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was me. I was the baby. So I was always at home, and my grandmother would just hand me a book. She'd say, "Read this book," you know, Black Beauty by Marguerite Henry, all just books. And I wear glasses now, so now I listen to books on tape, but
Mm-hmm.
I still love a good book. And kids, please start reading. Please read a book. Read a book. Put your phones down. Whenever I'm out and I see children with books, I go over and I'm like, "Thank you for reading." There's nothing like holding a book in your hand. There's so much information in there. So,
And
anyway,
speak your grandmother's name.
Elizabeth V. Salee. She worked in the Dayton school board system. She worked at McCall's printing company, and we called her Bimbo. That was her nickname,
Okay.
Elizabeth Salee. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
And you told me too that you write children's books, right?
I do. I do. I've got a couple. They're around here. I've
Uh-huh.
got one called "Let's Say Goodnight." It's my ode to Goodnight Moon. I have one called Stubby the Tiny Horn Rhinoceros. It was inspired. My daughter Ava was about 2 or 3, and when we would ride around, we lived in Newport Beach, California. She used to say, "Daddy, tell me a story." Oh, there's one of my books over there. I'll grab it. She'd say, "Daddy, tell me a story," and I'd say, "Give me a subject," and she'd say, um, "A rhinoceros with a little horn and a hummingbird." Right.
Wow, that's a challenge.
And so
That is
that's
so
what
cute.
That's what this one is. And so Stubby, a rhino's tail. There's the hummingbird. There's the rhino. So this rhinoceros, a rhino with a tiny horn, finds an ally, and the two of them do the impossible. This is the tale of a most unlikely friendship that shows how much we all need each other. Sometimes the tiniest of things turn out to be the greatest of things, and it changes everyone's perception of you except your own. Okay? Stubby is the son of the leader of the Rhino Crash, and he's born with this horn, and his father thinks it's going to be massive, but it never grows. And so that they all the rhinos tease him and call him Stubby, and
Hmm.
his father doesn't let him go out because he doesn't want him to get hurt. And one day he's out by himself, and this hummingbird lands on his horn, and the hummingbird says, "What's wrong?" He's like, "No one will play with me because I got a small horn." And he said, "I'll play with you." And so they start hanging out, being friends. One
Mm.
day, his father and the other rhinos go out hunting, and his father goes into a cave, and there's an avalanche. His father's trapped in the cave. Well, Stubby hears his father holler, and he rushes to him, and he steps into a rhino trap. There's poachers out there looking for rhinos. And Stubby is there, and the hummingbird is there, and Stubby's like, "Help, help him." The hummingbird says, "How can I help you? I'm just a hummingbird." And the hummingbird looks down and sees a pin holding the trap shut. And he goes down, he pushes the pin out, and the trap springs open. Stubby runs to the cave, and all the rhinos are there saying, "Your father's trapped inside." Stubby said, "Get him out." They said, "We can't. Our horns are too big." Stubby takes his little tiny horn and finds the crack in the rock, the smallest of holes, and he puts his horn in there and does that and opens it up and frees his father. And they all run back to the thing back to their crash. And his father says, "You saved me." Stubby said, "I didn't save you. The hummingbird saved you." And so after that, no one teases him anymore because they realize everyone has value.
That's beautiful. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Everyone has
Yes.
value,
Good.
no matter how small.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank
So,
you for that. Thank you for
yeah.
that.
So
Well,
that's what I do. You know, I
yeah,
write, I do all that stuff, and
that's beautiful. That's good.
I'm
And do
just,
you teach, yeah, teach children to write? Are you working with kids at all?
I'm not, I'm not. I
Mhm.
just moved back to Dayton 2 months ago.
2 months
Uh,
ago. Well, welcome back home.
2 months. Thank you, thank you.
I
two
think like
months.
you're hitting into the right groups of people. You're getting connections made.
Yes. Well, thanks to the Greater West Dayton Incubator and Miss Juanita Darden. She is putting me in touch with amazing people over there, which really fills my heart because I see people who care about Dayton and West Dayton specifically, and
Hmm.
it's really really nice to
Yeah,
connect with like minds and getting funding. I'm trying to get funding for my games and my books and things like that, but that's something that will come when it's time. So,
right. Everything in time.
exactly.
Well, TJ, thank you. I appreciate this discussion with you, and I will get your audio version of the night before Kwanzaa and share it with people. And I'm
Yes.
going to share this as a bonus podcast so that people can hear you and connect with you. And are your books available?
On Amazon, yes.
Amazon.
On
Okay.
Amazon.
All right.
I'll
So
send you links to them and you can post them if you
that'll be
choose to.
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Carol with a K. Why'd your parents name you Carol with a K?
I never asked her,
Really?
but you know it's interesting. I'm stop. Now we can still talk. You know it's interesting. So my it was Carol Brown was my married name.
Right.
Carol with a K. I never met anybody spelling with a K until I came out here in Washington State, and
Okay.
there was another Carol with a K Brown,
Wow.
and I find out there's several of us. So I had to start using my initial V.
Right.
So I
Yes.
started using my middle initial official things, and now I have the Brown hyphenated with Jones on it. So
Well, my name Terry Johnson is so common. I do a joke about meeting a woman online, and she says, "What's your name?" I said, "Terry Johnson," and they're silent, and she says, "I just Googled you. Have you been in jail for murder?" I'm like, "That's not me." She's like, "What about the Terry Johnson?" I said, "That's not me."
there's a
It's
lot of them out there.
right. There's a
A
lot
lot of
of them.
them
I'm
out
like,
there.
I'm like, I'm the good one. She's like, I don't know. There's you've done a lot, Terry. I'm like, those aren't me. I'm the one with good credit. Okay. So
That's
that's
beautiful.
why, I use TJ. Most
And they
people,
got them to go by TJ Johnson too.
well, that's true. I have a very common name. And
Yes.
at one time I was gonna have a pen name of James Terry, and stuff like that. But you know what? It's okay. If someone's looking for me, they can find me.
Yeah. Well.
I'm
All
okay.
right. Beautiful. Thank you, Terry.
TJ, Terry. Thank you.
TJ.
Thank you,
You're
Miss
welcome.
Brown Jones. You are
Yeah.
Brown Jones, actually. Look at you. You're beautiful Brown Jones.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
'Twas the night before Kwanzaa, and we could barely sleep, filled with such emotion of this tradition we yearly keep. The national black liberation flag was draped across the wall, and a poster of the seven principles was hung in the hall. The mat was set on the table, and on it we placed a bowl filled with fruits and vegetables, reflecting the harvest of the toll. The seven candles are placed in the candle holder, the seven principles to represent. One black, three red, and three green, lighting each one marks an event. The black candle goes in the center and is the first one to be lit. Proudly it symbolizes unity, for we are nothing without it. Then 3 red ones are placed next to the left of the black to represent Nia, Kumba, and Imani, because we start Kwanzaa with that. The green candles were placed to the right, representing Kujichagulia, Ujima, and Ujama's might. Put all of these together, and it just seems right. Surrounded by African sculptures and books from the motherland, we couldn't help but reflect, and we held each other's hand. We placed 3 ears of corn, 2 for our girls and 1 for the boy. Then, with the placing of the Kikumbi cha Umoja, it was time to shout for joy. Harambe, Harambe.
It's Kwanzaa. Come together. 7 days, 7 nights. Hey, 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 hey.
Every day of our surface,
Kwanzaa, love in action.
love in actions,
7 principles.
we live them out.
Home to the world.
Kwanzaa, love in action,
J1,
umoja,
Umoja.
umoja,
We belong together.
together,
Family, community.
we are one.
Kujichagulia.
Kujichagulia,
Self-determination.
say your name,
Say it loud. Be who you are.
be proud.
Umani.
If you fall, I got you.
We fix it together. I got you. We fix it together. I got you. We fix it together.
Share the wealth, hold your mom, I got it.
We all need
We support each other.
community. Oh, eh.
Nia,
Nia,
Maya,
Nia, Nia.
Maya,
We're here for a reason.
Nia,
Yes, we are. Lift the people.
build the future.
Kuma,
Creativity, sing it,
dance it.
create
Make it better every day.
every day.
Every day.
Maya,
Nia,
Maya,
There's a mini Mari.
Imani, faith,
We believe in love.
Imani,
Keep moving forward. Love leads us. Fight on and us.
Kwanzaa, love in action, love in action.
7 principles.
We live them out.
7 days, 1 flame.
Kwanzaa, love in action.
Umoja,
Umoja,
kujichagulia.
Ujima, Ujima,
Imani.
love in action.
Love in action. Love in action. Come on. Fun some waves away.
I thank you for spending time with us. If something you heard today stirs your heart, take it with you, sit with it, share it, and most of all, live it. Remember, love is not passive, love is an action. And I want you to use love with all of your actions. Until next time, I'm Carol B. Brown Jones, and this is Gigi United by Love. Make sure you subscribe so that you can stay connected with our community. Thank you for being here.